everyone, and welcome back. My name's dustinkreis, and we got a game discussion today. And I really didn't plan on it being right after my early impressions video, but we're going to talk about Mass Effect 3. And like I said, my last video, I just did it like, 10 days ago, was my early impressions, and now we're doing a game discussion. So I really hope to have some content in between that to kind of break it, so it wasn't just me talking about Mass Effect for 2 videos and you guys are bored out of your mind. But packages didn't come in, and my long-standing idea to do a video on my thoughts on the used game market, every time I try to do it, I lose my place. So I think I need to write some stuff out. I'm getting to the point where I almost need to do scripting for these videos, but whatever. We'll continue on. Anyway, Mass Effect 3. Bought it on the 5th, finished it on the 14th. I did not play every day. There was actually like 4 or 5 days that I didn't play because I was so bombed out from work. So, needless to say, I could not put this game down. It is one of my favorite games, not only this generation, but if I were ever to really kind of do a top 10 video games of all time, Mass Effect 3 probably wouldn't make the list, but I probably combined the entire series, let's just say Mass Effect, throughout, because this is kind of something we don't get a lot of in video games. We don't get direct sequels a lot, It's hard to do. It's a hard thing to do this, to make direct sequels. And tell a good storyline between all the games. Movies, we get it all the time, but sequels in video game worlds are a lot like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and things like that, where it's a new world each time. And it's really awesome to play these games, play them 1 to 3, and watch how your decisions affect the world. This is one of the few games out there that I really feel like this is my story. You get that in Fallout, and you get that in the Elder Scrolls. I really feel that in those games. But, there's some outstanding circumstances why this is one of my favorite series this generation. And it comes from the fact that I am a huge sci-fi nerd. I love space travel, I love starships, I love alien races. So, for me, this is the closest thing that we're going to get to an awesome Star Trek game. And, there's a new Star Trek game coming out for the new movie universe, and I'm really hoping it's good, but I just don't think that they're going to, really do what Mass Effect did, and, if they want a great template for a great Star Trek game, right here you go. So anyway, I really enjoyed and loved my time with Mass Effect 3. I thought it was awesome. I know there's a lot of hate out for the game. I touched on the controversy of the homosexual relationships in my early impressions video, so I'm not going to touch on it here. I said my piece. It's optional, so if you don't, cotton to that kind of stuff, you don't have to, you don't have to have it. You don't have to interact with Cortez. You don't have to have it. My character, I'm a heterosexual male. My character was all about Miranda Lawson, and so I didn't have any of that in the game. Cortez hit on me. I, kindly said I'm interested in the ladies, and we moved on. So that's all you have to do. Quit bitching about it. But I understand why people are not liking these games, because the first game started out very, kind of Knights of the Old Republic, RPG-esque. BioWare, it followed that formula very well. When they went to Mass Effect 2, it became more of an action game, and I think some people, fell off the bandwagon there. Personally, it still felt like the same game to me, so I was still having a ball with it. And then this came out, and all I gotta say is, wow. I love this game from beginning to end. There is not a... I do have problems with it, but mostly it's the aesthetic stuff. From an enjoyment factor, hands down, I enjoyed this game from beginning to end. And in my early impressions video, I said this is a strong contender for Game of the Year for me. which I haven't played, you know, a lot of games, a lot of new games this year. You know, Final Fantasy 13 2, I loved it, and I'm playing Tales of the Abyss on the 3DS, and I'm loving it as well. So I did buy a whole bunch of more games. I got Tales of Grace's F down there, and I have Silent Hill Downpour, which I hear is kind of getting wishy-washy reviews. We'll see how it is. You know, Xenoblade and Last Story are coming out, so I don't know if Mass Effect 3 will still hold up as Game of the Year kind of stuff, but, you know, it might make the list. You know, I don't know what's going to be coming out later on, but this is a very strong contender. So, kind of lost my place here. We'll see where we go. But anyway, I love this game. I think it was great. I love to see the conclusion of my story, you know, and the choices I made and the people that are still alive because of those choices. And this game does make you make some tough decisions. I don't really want to go into them because I don't want to spoil it for you. But there was a decision that I had to make between essentially two alien races. And I had to think long and hard about it because it involved two of my favorite characters in the game. And if I tell you who they are, you know, it's going to ruin things. So I don't want to mention it because I really don't want to spoil the storyline because it's your story. You know, the decisions you make in 1 and 2 affect 3. So I don't want to ruin the potential for your story. I want it to be a personal thing for you. So I don't want to touch on that. But I sat there for a good, you know, 5 minutes and really pondered what I was actually choosing and what would be better, what would be a better choice. And it's a weird thing to have a video game and interacting with these sort of, you know, they're not real. These are not real characters, but you do care for them. It's a strange thing how you become attached to these, you know, these graphics on the screen. You know, no secret, Ashley's back. She's a part of your crew now. But, you know, my shepherd, you know, he had a relationship with Ashley in the first game. And then the second game when he was in Cerberus, you know, Ashley kind of gave him the cold shoulder. And in my feeling, in my brain, you know, Miranda was there for him. So when Ashley came back in 3, my shepherd, you know, it didn't make sense for me to start up a relationship with Ashley. You know, he was all about Miranda. Miranda was there for him when he needed her. So my character chose Miranda. And it's just so crazy how, you know, your interactions with these characters, it really affects you, and you really make a decision based on your interaction with these characters. Like Garrus is one of my favorite characters, and, you know, just the way I interact with him, I would always side with him because he's my brother in arms, you know. He's the guy that's been with me through beginning to end. You know, how can I go against Garrus? He's my right-hand man. Same with Urdnot Rex. You know, you have a very big decision with Urdnot Rex in this game. And, you know, there's a potential for, you know, universe-shattering things. But my character could not go against Rex because Rex, you know, was my friend. I could not side with whoever, you know, was against Rex. I had to choose Rex. You know, it's just funny how your experiences with the game and how you played it really affects your decisions. And I love that in games, and I want to see more of that. You know, I love that Final Fantasy reinvents itself every time. I love that Dragon Quest is a new world every time. But at the same time, I like seeing these game worlds and seeing how my decisions in the first game affect the second game and how the decisions of those two affect the third. This is fantastic to me, and I love it. But anyway, let's get into the storyline here a little bit and talk about it. Basically, what you're doing, you know, the Reapers at the end of Mass Effect 2, we're getting ready to stomp all over our galaxy, and at the beginning of the game, they're of course stomping on us, and stomping on us hard. This is a dark, dark game. There's no second guessing it. It's a dark game. It's working towards an end game. It's actually got an end in mind, whether you agree with it or not. It has an end in mind, and it's going to take you there. The best way to look at this game is a movie. This is, you know, as close to a movie as video games have got so far. And I applaud BioWare for doing this. They knew what they were going to do, and they did it. And a lot of people are pissed off about it, but I don't care. I love the ending to this game. And as a preface, you know, like I said, I love science fiction. I love 2001: A Space Odyssey. Probably one of the most open-ended movies out there. You can infer whatever you want from it. And, you know, as you move through this game and you get the storyline for the characters and everything, and it moves towards the end game, you get the sense that this might not, either this is going to wrap up really badly, or it's going to wrap up kind of loosely. And I'm not going to, I really don't want to talk about the ending, you know, except to say that I loved it. I see what people have a problem with it, but for me, I thought it was great. And I can't wait to see where it jumps from there. So I might actually stop talking about the storyline here, because I feel like by now you guys should have already made up your mind on Mass Effect. If you liked Mass Effect 1, you probably liked Mass Effect 2. And then, therefore, 3 is a no-brainer. I will say that if you like 1 and 2, 3 is a no-brainer. It's awesome. I loved it. Will you like the end of the storyline? I don't know. It kind of depends on your stance on ambiguity. Because the ending, while you do have a choice between 3 options at the end, it still kind of ends in an open nature, which is awesome because they can continue on from there. Not necessarily with Shepard as the main character, depending on your choice. Spoiler alert there, sorry guys. But I figure you guys think that he's either going to live or die at the end. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance, right? So, depending on your choice, you know. But I really think that 4 is going to jump ahead quite a bit in the centuries. So, it's kind of a moot point anyway. But, you know, approach the ending with an open, you know, an open mind, and kind of think about what has influenced this game. You know, go to movies like Moon, which is a fantastic movie, and I want to do a movie discussion on it. But I have another movie that I want to do a movie discussion on first before I do Moon. 2001: A Space Odyssey. All these great old science fiction movies that broach these huge topics, and then at the end, they make you think about them. That's the problem that people are having with this game, is that it's making you think about what has happened. They don't really spell it out for you, and they don't, like, you know, tie all the loose ends up. They make you think about it. And thinking makes people angry, I guess. I don't know. But I love the ending, and I love to think about where it goes from there, because it is universe-altering, game-altering, world-altering stuff there. I mean, where the series can go from here, I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. I really hope they make a Mass Effect 4. I really hope it happens, because I would love to see where it goes from here. Storyline, out of the way, because if I talk anymore, I'm going to start spoiling stuff for you guys. Gameplay-wise, if you've played Mass Effect 2, there's very little, you know, improvements over that engine. I can't talk about the Kinect because I don't own a Kinect. I don't want a Kinect, but I hear that it works actually pretty well. So you don't have to use motion controls. It's mainly for your voice commands to command your soldiers around. But some things in the game that I really enjoyed. In Mass Effect 2, I actually really enjoyed mining for materials. Flying around the planets and just searching. It was a fun thing to do for me. I don't know why. But in Mass Effect 3, they streamlined it a little bit, so you're really only searching for war assets. So each planet only has one thing to search for. Now, the cool thing about this is they make it a little dangerous to search for war assets, in that these systems are occupied by Reapers. So every time you use your sensors to try to detect which planet has items on it, you fill up a Reaper signal bar. Basically, they're searching for you, and every time you use your sensors, it alerts them. And once that bar fills up, you basically have 4 Reaper ships coming into the system to try to catch you. And if they catch you, it's game over. You have to, you know, start over. It doesn't make you start over from your last save. It kind of, you know, starts you over back in the system before you know, got attacked by the Reapers. But that's kind of crazy how, you know, just searching around for war assets can be such a dangerous thing in this game. Battle system wise, like I said, same thing from Mass Effect 2. If you played Mass Effect 2, you know what to expect here. I personally love it. I think the combat is just right. The big draw for me in this game is, of course, the dialogue. More so than the combat, I love just going to the Citadel and talking to people and getting those dialogue trees started and, you know, sort of affecting the world that way. I played as a Paragon character all through all 3 games. I made renegade decisions when it made sense, but for the most part I played as a Paragon. And it was just fun for me to interact with these characters, and the dialogue is really well written. The responses are really, you know, thoughtful, and I personally love this style of game. I loved it in Knights of the Old Republic. I loved it in this. I have Jade Empire, but I haven't got around to playing it yet. So I'm assuming when I get into there and have the same, you know, thing, I will enjoy that as well. So, you know, talking about the gameplay is kind of a moot point, because I figure by now you guys have made your decision on this series. So, you know, maybe this game discussion video is a moot point, you know, entirely. It's just me rambling, you know, my own opinions. But I personally loved everything that this game offered. Was there anything that this game did differently that... No. I mean, if you've played Mass Effect 2, you know what to expect in this one. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. It just refines it a bit. Graphics-wise, this is where I have a problem with this game, and it's a problem I have mostly with all modern video games, is that I don't like these hyper-realistic graphics. I mean, on the one hand, it looks really nice, but on the other hand, there's always something so fake about it. And fake in a bad way. I like it when it's like animated look. Like if it's like Tales of the Abyss and its graphical style, I love that kind of fakeness. But when it's trying to resemble, you know, real life so closely, but misses the mark so vastly, I don't like that. There's a lot of graphical pop-in, and everything shines in a way that is not natural. You know, it's just weird how everything has like this, this just veneer to it that just shines off the light sources. And, you know, I have to go back, talking about the light sources really makes me think about something. I have to go back and look at Mass Effect 1 to see if lens flares were as prevalent in the earlier games, or if that's just a Star Trek 2009 reference. Because that movie, of course, has lens flares all over the place. And I really need to go back and take a look and see if Mass Effect 1 has those lens flares. Because I really noticed that. Because now I really notice it in J.J. Abrams' work with like that and Super 8, you know. So I saw that and I was like, is that a Star Trek reference, or has that been part of the series all along? But, you know, the graphics, you know, for our modern console era are great. It's just that I don't personally like the hyper-realistic graphics. Does that make sense? There's nothing bad about them. There's, you know, some clipping every now and then. Every now and then when I had like a conversation, and, you know, it cuts back and forth between the two characters. Sometimes the other character that you were talking to would not be in frame at all, and it'd just be like a blank wall talking to you. But when you get into these big games like this, you know, there's going to be bugs. So you just kind of look at them as kind of an endearing quality. The music in this game, I actually thought this was the best music so far in a Mass Effect game, period. I really love the mournful tracks that play. But for the most part, you've heard this music before in the other Mass Effect games, except for the sort of more mournful, sorrowful songs. Which really plays into a cool aspect of the storyline, which I didn't touch on, is this whole thing of Shepard having dreams, and they're just these really strange, you know, esoteric, somber dreams. And, you know, it's kind of from a gameplay standpoint, it's a stupid, pointless thing, because you're really just chasing after this little kid, and there's no skill involved in it or anything. But from a storyline standpoint, it really shows how the war is just affecting his psyche. I mean, this man has gone through a lot in the 3 games, and to see that affect him in that way. It is a really cool thing, and from a storyline perspective, it is really awesome. So, I'm not going to belabor this because, you know, I think you guys have made up your mind on the Mass Effect series. You don't need me to tell you whether you should pick it up or not. If you like Mass Effect, then definitely go out and pick this game up. If you're on the fence about Mass Effect, maybe wait till it gets cheaper. If you don't like a Mass Effect, then just forget it entirely because it's not going to change your opinion. It's just, you know, it's Mass Effect. You know, they didn't reinvent the wheel here. They're not going to, you know, they're preaching to the choir with this game. Unfortunately, the choir, you know, this is a big, the problem with this game is it's a big popular game that's really trying to express more niche ideas. And what I mean by that is like movies like 2001 or Moon, you know, these really sort of movies that make you question things, you know, Pi. You know, what the hell's Pi about? You know, movies like that. And personally, I love ambiguity in movies because it allows you to be an active participant in them. And the ending to this game, while it'll piss a lot of people off because they want everything tied up in a nice, neat bow, the fact that BioWare had the balls to not do that, I have to commend them on that. You know, we can talk about EA's DLC day one crap all day long, but from the, you know, from my perspective, I love what BioWare did with this game, and I love where it took this series. I think from day one, they treated this series with the respect it deserved, and they treated it as a piece of art and a piece of, almost a piece of film. And, you know, the whole fact that there's this group out there that are trying to raise money to have BioWare change the ending is fucking stupid. Would you ask people to change the ending to a movie? Now, I know people would be like, yeah, those Star Wars movies, those prequel ones, they could have changed all that shit around. You know what? The problem is with you, okay? And I might piss people off with this, but if you have a problem with the way something went, it's something with you, because the creators of this are trying to get something across. And if it doesn't react with you in a certain way, it's not their fucking fault. It's your fucking fault because you can't relate to what they're trying to present to you. And there are things out there that I don't like, but I accept the fact that the fault is with me. I personally did not like that. It's not BioWare's fault. They did what they wanted to do with this series. It's their fucking series. So if you didn't like it, that is your fault. It's something with you internally that can't relate to the material. So if I piss anyone off, I'm sorry. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm really making an attempt to not apologize for things that I'm really not sorry for. So if you don't like it, it's your fucking fault. There we go. So that's Mass Effect 3. I really enjoyed the game. I think it's a fantastic game, fantastic series. If you don't like it, I understand your reasons why you don't like it. But for me, it was right up my alley. It's near and dear to my heart, and I beat this game last night, and I'm still thinking, you know, I'm still thinking about how much I want to hang out with Garrus, and how much I want to woo Miranda more, and how much I want to just go up to the bridge and dick around with Joker more. You know, I love these characters. I love this universe. I really hope we get to go back to it. And, you know, one of my favorite series of this generation. So, coming up, I'm actually going to be finishing Tales of the Abyss. And other than that, I'm probably going to be taking a little bit of a break.